Hey guys, Sony7 here and welcome to a video on Apex Season 4. I've done one of these for all the previous Apex seasons, I think. Like as far as I can go back, as far as I remember. I don't know, I think so. Wanted to go through some of the stuff for Apex Season 4, thoughts on it, all the changes, stuff like that. Overall, just off the start, I do want to say, feeling mostly pretty good with a lot of the changes this season. I think that a lot of the stuff that they've done with the map, new character, the challenges, hopefully what they're going to be doing with limited time modes and stuff like that to keep people playing throughout the season, all that stuff seems pretty good, and I've been having fun with it so far.
Probably.
And a lot of the changes to like the whole sniper ammo change as well, and changes to the weapons, like getting rid of the turbocharger. I've been a fan of most of this stuff. Putting the L-Star as just a regular weapon, making the Devotion a drop gun. I think this is all pretty cool, and so far I'm pretty happy with most of the stuff in Season 4. I think that the biggest issue that I have, and I want to get this out of the way right away because it really is like the biggest issue, is on Xbox, and you may see it a little bit in this gameplay here, I'm not sure. Like sometimes it happened, well, it just happened right there as I was looking at it. Sometimes it happens a ton in some matches, and then other matches it doesn't happen very often at all. But at least on Xbox, Apex, they're just constant skips and stutters throughout the gameplay. Like it just happens extremely frequently, and it gets really annoying because if you use a gun like a Peacekeeper or something like that, like I've pretty much reverted to just only using full autos if I can control it, because if you use like the Peacekeeper, the Wingman, a sniper, anything like that, you're just your liability pretty much. Not because of your own ability, because of your own aim, but because you could be lining up a good shot and then the game could completely skip. Now if that happens and you're using like a full auto gun, not the biggest deal. It is a big deal. It could cost you the fight. But in this game, the full autos take a lot of bullets to kill, and it's not as big of a deal. Whereas like with the Wingman or something like that, you're trying to go for those powerful hits. Same thing with the Peacekeeper. You're going to hit less shots, but you're going to go for those powerful shots. We're going to get those nice headshots, those nice clean body shots with the Peacekeeper that are going to do a lot of damage. So if you get those skips with those guns, then it costs you the fight a lot of the time, and it can get really frustrating. And it's not just like shooting guns either. It could be, when to use. I just saw another skip right there. It could be when to use your ability. It could be
Gibraltar meta, boys.
Could be like trying to jump up on something. That has happened to me many a time where I'm trying to like jump over a wall or something like that, and I can't clamber over it because of the lag skips. Like it just skips me off the wall. Skip right there in the looting. If I were to point out, I'm not gonna do it from this point on. If I were to point out every skip in this gameplay, it would be ridiculous. It just happens so frequently, and now that I've pointed it out, if you're looking for it in the gameplay, you will certainly notice it. It is a frequent occurrence. So now that I've gotten that out of the way, that is like the major negative, again, coming from an Xbox Apex player. That is the major negative for me coming from for this season. I think that is the biggest issue, is that the spikes are way too frequent, and it just interferes with the gameplay way too much, to the point where it's almost unplayable. Like seriously, especially the times where it tends to happen a lot while you're shooting, like in between shots and stuff like that. When it starts to get like that, it really does become unplayable, and it's unfortunate because I like most of the other stuff about the season. Okay, so let's get into some of that other stuff. First off, I want to talk about the new Legend. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I've played him once, so I'm gonna be going off of everybody that I've played with. Somebody's always wanted to try him, and I guess I'm waiting for it to hit the point where I'm gonna start trying it out once everybody else gets bored of it. I think that Revenant is a pretty interesting character. Let's go through his abilities. His passive, you get to crouch walk faster and you can climb higher up walls. We tested this. The higher climb on walls doesn't seem to be that much higher, so I don't see this being like too big of a thing. But the faster crouch walk is actually pretty nice. In a way, it's weird because then Revenant kind of has to be like a solo-ish player, if you know what I'm saying. Like if he wants to go for a flank or something like that, he kind of has to be on his own, which isn't usually the strat in Apex. Usually you want to try to stick together, but if you're gonna want to take advantage of being silent with that crouch walk, you're gonna have to do like some solo-ish plays, which makes him kind of different, kind of interesting. His tactical ability is you throw a device that deals damage and disables enemy abilities for 10 seconds.
Nice. Right,
again, haven't played the character, but from what I've seen from having my friends use it, it's pretty easy to use this ability. It seems like it's not too hard to get a good hit off with it on another character, and this can be pretty big. Like if you hit a Pathfinder with this, get rid of the grapple, you can just take them out. They won't be able to get away from the fight as easily. Same goes for something like Wraith. Hit a lifeline with it, they won't be able to put their drone down. Like there's a lot of characters. I mean, pretty much all the characters to a certain point. You can just like hard counter hitting a Jibby with it so he can't put down a shield. Like there's some crazy counterplay you can do with this tactical, and it can pretty much counter anything. Speaking of which, like quick aside here, playing Gibraltar in this gameplay, this is like the one Gibraltar game I played this season, ended up winning it. Gibraltar's insane now. I just want to say that Gibraltar's legitimately a top 3 character, maybe the second best character in the game. I'm not trolling at all in any way. Like Gibraltar is genuinely really good. So back to the new character. His ultimate is you drop a totem that protects users from death. Instead of getting killed or downed, you will return to the totem. So basically, like you place the totem in a certain location. Everybody has to press X on it to activate it. You go into this like death protection mode. It makes you look like the zombies from the season 3 limited time mode, the Halloween one, if you guys remember that, the shadows or whatever. Like puts you in that state. You look like that. And you can go out, you can fight a team, and when you get when you take quite a bit of damage, like 100 damage, when you get close to death, essentially, it'll teleport you back to the totem. So there's some interesting play with this. You know, you could pop this with everybody on your team, go out, like get a knock, have it teleport you all back, get your shields off, and then go back and take advantage. And you'll have the advantage in that fight in that scenario. Like unless they have like all gold shields and stuff like that, you'll be back in that fight. With the health advantage, even if they get the revive off. So there's some interesting ways you could use this. You could probably use this in endgame circles, like crazy endgame ranked circles, to like, I don't know, make some crazy plays in the zone to stay alive, to get some wins. I don't know. I think there's a lot of things you could probably do with this. Mostly it seems to be good for like a team that wants to rush a lot and like take fights and get into action. Although I could see it being used for a camper style play as well. If you want to test the waters, essentially, if that makes sense. Like if you want to get some action on some people before they push your fortress, I guess, if you have like a Watson or something. I don't know. There's different ways you could see. I could see this being used mostly as like an aggressive play style, but I could see it being mixed up. Also, Revenant does have like the low profile buff. I mean, would it be called a buff? It's not really a buff, but Revenant takes plus 5% damage. I think this is something that they've done on all the legends, where like certain legends have a reduction in the damage that they take, and other legends with like the smaller hitboxes have an increase in the damage that they take. So Revenant is one of those that has the increase. So that's pretty much all I have to say about Revenant. I think he's an interesting character, interesting addition to the pool of legends. Not too like convinced on him being crazy overpowered or crazy underpowered yet. He seems like he's in a decent spot, and yeah, doesn't seem like too crazy powerful yet. But an interesting character nonetheless. Should be fun to play with, fun to mix things up with. They added in a new weapon, the Sentinel sniper rifle. What makes the Sentinel interesting is that it's a bolt-action sniper rifle, first bolt-action sniper rifle that's not like a drop gun, and there's also like a way that you can charge the gun to give it disruptor rounds. You can use your shield batteries to charge the gun for a temporary amount of time, and give it disruptor rounds, so it'll just completely annihilate shields. But the trade-off is that you can hear it, you can tell, it's a distinct sound when it has that disruptor, so if you hear somebody shoot with it, you're going to know that they have it. Also, like the energized state only lasts so long, and every time you shoot, I think it takes time off of it as well. So big trade-offs there, but could be pretty interesting, could be really powerful. But again, like shield batteries are pretty important, so I mean, you're going to have a lot of those if you're really going to be expending them on your Sentinel sniper. You probably want to, if you have like 5 batteries left or something like that, and it's like a last team, like a ranked game, that I could see it being really strong. You could use it to get a knock off that with that many batteries in reserve. It might make sense. But I don't know. It's an interesting trade-off. I think it's an interesting gun. I think it's different. I think it'll be fun to mess around with, to figure out. I'm not sure if it's going to be like a meta gun, but I think it's a cool addition. Not as annoying as the charge rifle. That I will say, not as annoying as the charge rifle. Another thing that they've done too is they've added a ton of new locations and like adjusted old locations to the map. So far, I am enjoying this a lot. They've also like changed the look of the map. The lighting of the map is a lot different. and so far I'm enjoying that. I like the way the map looks now. A lot less bright. They put the dark mode on the map, and I am perfectly okay with that. I like the way it looks. There are some locations of the map that look maybe a little too dark where it gets kind of hard to see, but for the most part, I think it's fine, and it hasn't really bothered me too much. The biggest new location, the Planet Harvester, is cool. It's got some different levels. It creates for some different types of fights. Like, it's not, I haven't really been like bored when I'm there yet fighting, if that makes sense. Like, the fights are going to be different in that location. There's enough of how do I put it? It reminds me of like a Halo map, honestly. Like, the Planet Harvester location kind of reminds me of like something out of a Halo map with all the different verticality you have, and the different bases as well. I don't know, it gives me like a Halo-ish vibe, and I think it's a really cool place to fight. Capital City got the like nuke treatment, and is all like destroyed now, which I think is really cool. I really like the change to Capital City. Having a lot of fun there. I think that's dope. There's like this fissure in the middle of the map that has a ton of lava that you could fall into, and it does like you can fly out of it, but you take a bit of damage when you drop into it. So that's kind of like an interesting trade-off-ish type thing, I guess. Mostly just you know, another obstacle to overcome. Like, there was always like the lava portion of this map. Well, now there's a huge lava portion that you really have to avoid, along with other additions, other point of interest, and other like adjustments around the map. The one adjustment I will say, the one thing I did want to see changed was actually train yard. I think train yard sucks, and they did change it in some way. They added an extra, I think, 2 zip lines up to those train cars, but it honestly doesn't make. Are they even train cars? I don't even know what you call it. Like the hanging things above train yard. I'm just gonna call them train cars. That's the only thing I'm gonna call them. It doesn't even make sense. But yeah, they added 2 zip lines, but in my experience, that doesn't really make a difference because, you know, if there's a team camping up there, they're playing to camp up there. They're probably going to have like a Watson that they could just wall off the zip up to it. It doesn't really make a difference. End game circles. I think train yard sucks in general. I think it's the least fun place to fight in general, but especially end game circles. The zip lines up to the thing, I agreed. I even said that there should be zip lines up to those train cars from the bottom. I'm glad that they added them, but it doesn't make that much of a difference. The spot still sucks conceptually, and they should just take it out. They should just like rework trade yard. I think trade yard is awful. That's like my big thing there. They're gonna do splits with the ranked series. They're gonna do 6 weeks of ranked play before they reset it, so that'll be interesting. I like that because last season was very long, and having that reset with the ranked play will maybe make it a bit more interesting. They added a new tier to it, Master Tier, and Apex Predator is now the top 500 players split by platform. I think that's cool. I like the extra tier. I like that Pred is only top 500, so it's not like there's 5,000 people in Pred. It's kind of like the Halo 5 like champ rank, where it's like, oh, that's a top 500 player, you know, in champ Halo 5 is top 200, but I like that. I like that it's like its own special thing. Now I think that's pretty cool. Apparently they've made like differences, like minor adjustments to the scoring and stuff like that. Not gonna get too into it. Left. Like I said before, they added sniper ammo, so snipers now have their own ammo type. Looks like bluish purple to me. And that's kind of interesting. Like a different way of balancing out the snipers, I guess. And along with that, they changed the scout to the assault rifle class, which is something that I'm pretty sure I mentioned this when the game came out. The scout should have been in the assault rifle class the whole time, so now the scout is in the assault rifle class, does not need the sniper stock, just takes the regular stock, and does not need the sniper ammo. The sniper ammo applies to the sentinel, the longbow, the triple take, and the charge rifle. They added an extended magazine for the sniper ammo, so the sniper extended mag is its own thing now. Energy whammo. I tried to say energy whammo. Oh my god. Energy ammo now gives 30 ammo per pickup instead of 20. So some adjustments to energy ammo there. There's only 2 energy ammo weapons in Apex, so that's the reason why they put up the ammo that you get on each drop with the energy ammo, just so it's like not as much of an issue there, so energy ammo doesn't feel as scarce, which I like because that was always sort of an issue with energy ammo. Took out the turbocharger. Took out the extended mags for energy ammo as well. I think that's kind of interesting. I hope that they balance that properly with the energy weapons with both of those pop-ups. We'll have to see how that plays out. Anyways, going back down here, I think we're about good here. I mean, there's a bunch of like specific changes with like weapon buffs. Maybe I'll make a different video on that. Like a lot of weapons got some minor nerfs and buffs and stuff like that, along with some character changes and some bug fixes and stuff like that. But for the most part, I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about. All the most important things. Overall, as far as like Apex Season 4 on Xbox goes, I think if they fix the lag, I think I'll have a lot of fun with Season 4. And another quick thing at the end is I think they need to do a better job of just like having constant like mini events and limited time stuff and things like that throughout the season. Because my issue with Season 3 is I really enjoyed Season 3 at the start, and I'm really enjoying Season 4 at the start right now. But again, I really enjoyed Season 3 at the start. Grinded it super hard for like 3 or 4 weeks, like literally grinded it, and then I just stopped playing after the Halloween event because there wasn't enough to like pull me back, you know. Like I grinded it super hard, finished the battle pass, stuff like that. And obviously it's not going to be the case for everybody, but I do think people can relate to that a little bit in that like the last season was very long. I think this season's going to be the same length, like just 4 months. Like that's a freaking long ass season, and if you don't have like those mini events and stuff like that, at least, you know, every like couple weeks or something like that, people aren't going to have, you know, people are going to be coming back to the game as consistently. But that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I don't know, let me know what you guys think, if you're enjoying Apex Season 4, and if you want to give it another shot or not, if you haven't played it in a while, I don't know, any of that stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and see you next time.